It's my friend Paula's birthday, and to celebrate, me and a bunch of other artists have her brand new book, and I have a whole rack of markers. Should we use every single one and create the most extra colouring page you've ever seen? I am super excited for this one. We're going to be keeping it chill, nice and simple, but also a little bit crazy. But first, we need the essentials. A cup of tea, the huge rack of markers. We're going to be using every single one in this rack, and a brownie. Not exactly essential. The book we're using today was created by my friend Paula, also known as Creative Paula. It's called It's the Little Things, and it's a cute and cozy colouring book with simple, fun designs. Before we get started, I need to pop my name on the first page, and you can already see just how cute this book is going to be. This is the perfect book for when you just want to colour and not really think. So it's perfect for mental health and relaxation. As you can see on each of these pages, and over the course of Paula's birthday weekend, there's actually a lot of different artists that will be filling this book. The playlist is down below if you want to check out any of the others. And there's also a link to this book down below so that you can get one yourself and support another artist. When it comes to colouring books, I'm not a huge fan of the hyper detailed ones. And this book is the complete opposite of that. Like, look how cute these designs are. But I also think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge because we have a lot of markers to get through. And there's not enough areas on each page to fill, so we're going to have to create our own designs. On top of these designs, I'm gonna have to create extra. And I think this one is perfect. It's 3 cute little bears with some honey. This gives us a lot of room to add extra elements, and I've already made a note of some of the ones that I want to include. I think what drew me to this piece is the potential of adding a cute little patchwork quilt. I think it's gonna look amazing. First though, I'm grabbing the transfer sheets, and these are looking a little bit questionable. Usually I'll just grab them and go, but I've made that mistake one too many times. We have to clean them because otherwise the ink that's on these sheets can transfer back up onto the page, and that's really not worked well for me in the past. But honestly, they're not looking perfect. I think this is the best we're gonna get. Popping both of those in, feeling a little bit relaxed and grabbing some tea. But honestly, I'm now looking at this marker rack and feeling a little bit scared. There's so much choice, there's so many markers, and I do not know where to begin. I guess we could start with a water marker, maybe this pink one. Draw in the little bow and earrings that I wanted to add. I think if we're going to use every single one of these pens, we're going to have to add in a lot of cute extra elements. But I'm going to leave those water-based markers for now and move on to the alcohol markers. Mostly because I think those markers are best for dry brushing and adding details. Whereas the alcohol markers can make a lovely blend, I think these are going to work a little bit better as a base. So, the plan is grab one colour, colour a few sections, pop it to one side and move on to the next one. And this plan did work. It worked for a while until it didn't. You'll see that when we get to it. It seemed like a really good plan, but it had some problems. Well, for now, I'm just reaching for some cute colours. This quilt is going to be very colourful. We're going to work our way through the pinks, the purples, the yellows. But before I can do any of that, I think we should colour these bears. These bears are less realistic and more like teddy bears because honestly, I saw them as teddy bears. So, there are 2 that are semi-realistic colours. And we're going to be adding some cute little clothes to each of them. And then there's also a patchwork teddy bear. I've actually never had one before, but I saw pictures online and they look so cute. So I'm just going to be adding random colours to this other teddy bear, which I think is going to work perfect for this idea. I mean, we need to find a way to use every single colour in this rack, and I think that will help. You can see already that the quilt is kind of coming together, but but there is no colour theme to it. We're picking completely random colours each time and just going for it. I had no clue what colour the clothes or anything was going to be. I just kind of went with feeling, and honestly it's looking a little bit messy already, so maybe that wasn't the best idea. But I don't know how you would plan a piece like this otherwise. I felt like I wanted the clothes to be blue, but there was no reason for that. Now I'm grabbing the orange and adding some more warm tones to this piece. The alcohol markers are the Ohuhu 48 Honolulu set, and the water markers are the ones that I got from Temu, and plus there's another set of alcohol markers. It's a very small set I got for Christmas last year from Typo. And honestly, in this set, I am loving all of the pink and purple shades. There are so many. It's completely my colour palette. It's perfect. But the one thing I did notice is that there really is only one red shade and one orange shade. So if you like warm tones, then I don't think this is the set for you. You might need to get a bigger one. Like, it's perfect for me. There's a crazy amount of pink tones, but there really are not many warm tones, and I think you'll see that as this piece continues. It does look very cool toned. I probably should have sketched each square on the quilt before starting because it's looking weird. They're all different shapes. It looks so mismatched and the squares don't look good at all. But we'll try and ignore that. We'll try and ignore that it's looking a little bit messy. I've drawn in the grass and we're already running out of space on this piece. We've got so many markers to get through. Looking for two cute colours for the border, a light and dark pink, making it slightly darker in the corners and lighter in the middle. I tried to blend these two, and thinking about it now, I was supposed to go in for a second layer and I completely forgot. So it is looking a little bit patchy. It didn't look that patchy in real life. I completely forgot about it. Grabbing two brown shades now to make a cute little cottage. This was a spontaneous decision. I did think about it a little bit. I mean, it's 3 bears, there would be a cottage. A little bit like the nursery rhyme. We've still got a ton of colours to get through, so we've added a cute little cottage, but we're kind of running out of space now. There's a lot of green shades, so I'm adding in some bushes, and these are very messy, but it's a great way to get through all of those green shades. There are so many. Some blue for the sky as well. Unfortunately, this set is very vibrant, so the skies never look realistic. They're not really light enough. And just like that, there's pretty much no white left on this page. I'm using some more of those greens just to add a little bit of texture and definition to the grass that's really not looking like grass at all. And trying to figure out how on earth we're going to use the rest of these shades. Do you have any ideas at this point? Because we are completely out of space. Well, there's still this random pink shade that we need to use, so I'm thinking we're gonna have to use it for shadows at this point. Some of the blue went onto this bear's head, so the pink is just there to blend it out a little bit, but it's kind of giving sunburn. It does look a little bit odd. You can see now that I'm really struggling to figure out how we're gonna fill this piece. The answer really is shadows. We need to deepen some of these shadows to try and make it work. I'm also going over and adding a little bit more detail to the quilt because there's quite a variety of colours left. There's also the other smaller set of alcohol markers now that I'm trying to get through. Honestly, I tend to not reach for these just because they are a bullet nib and chisel tip, and I do prefer brush tips. But I'm running out of ideas here. Every obvious white area has been filled and we've still got lots of colours to get through. What am I gonna do? Look how many there are. Shadows and definition. I mean, that's all we can really do. Darken the bears, darken the cottage, darken the quilt. That's all we can do. Add a little bit of shadow. This is what's left. We've got the water-based markers and a load of greys, which I'm gonna put off for now. We're gonna move on to the water-based markers and add some clouds. I thought they might be easier to add on top because they don't blend very well, but I did forget just how light some of these shades are and you can really barely see them. Still, the darker shades worked quite well for shadows and adding line work. The blues and greens could easily be used for clouds and bushes and grass. It's the really light yellow and orange shades that was so difficult to use. But we're getting through. There's really not that many left now. And there's a lot of brown shades here, so I'm adding in some tree trunks and branches. And honestly, I think these brown water-based markers worked great for the trees and branches because they have this kind of scratchy look that the alcohol markers don't. And this is what we have left. 3 grays, a black, and a colorless blender. This page has so much color, and I really put off adding these because honestly, I don't want to make the page more gray. I don't want to make it more muted, but I think we're gonna have to. I'm adding a little bit of shadow along the edges and underneath the quilt because there probably would be some shadow, but I'm not really a fan that this green is becoming more muted. Still, it wasn't too bad. I'm adding some little specks of light into the sky and on the bow. And now we have 2. We're gonna have to make this piece darker. Adding some line work around the flowers so it kind of looks like it was part of the original drawing. I'm really not a fan of this decision, but we have to do it. There's 1 left now, and it's the black marker, the one that I've been really putting off. Shadow under the bow and adding some eyes to the second bear. I don't know if this is gonna work at all. But that's it, we've done it! This is the most extra coloring page I have ever made, and honestly, I think it's the best. So I guess it did work. Make sure you check out the playlist down below to see what all the other artists have made. Happy birthday, Paula! And I'll see you back here on Sunday with a sketchbook tour. Bye bye!